Hello everyone. So today we're going to do a slightly more complicated attack. We're going to take ideas that we've learned previously in the trimester of attacking at different layers of the stack, and we're going to put them all together to make a more advanced attack. So here's what we're going to do. We've got our Kali on this simulated network, which is simulating sort of being on the internet, and XP is connected to this network, so the Kali can see the XP, and what we want to do is go from Kali and attack this computer on the network, the Metasploitable. So the Kali can't reach Metasploitable by default, so we have to attack this XP first to get a foothold onto this network. So we're going to have sort of a more complicated attack here. So we're going to have XP visit a website, and we're going to redirect XP to a web server that we control, and that web server is going to look all right, but it's going to have a hidden iframe, a hidden box, and that box is going to redirect the target to a server that serves up an exploit targeting, in this case, Internet Explorer. So this is going to make use of a lot of things that we've studied before. So we're going to do a man in the middle with XP using ARP spoofing. So we can do the DNS spoof. The DNS spoof is going to redirect to a web server we control. We're going to insert that hidden iframe, and that iframe is going to redirect to yet another web server that serves up the exploit. Alright, so that's a lot of stuff, so we'll try and go a little bit slowly so people can see each stage. Alright, so before we do that, let's review our network very quickly. So I have my pfSense as always, and it's on NAT and internal network. I've got my XP, so my XP is on internal network and internal network 2. I've got my Metasploitable, and that's only on internal network 2. Alright, so we go here to our Metasploitable, we type ifconfig. You should see an IP address on a subnet other than your Kali. If you don't have this IP address, it means you didn't set up DHCP for internal network 2. Go back to week 1 assignment and check out how you do that. Alright, and then of course we have our Kali, which is on internal network. Okay, so first of all, we're going to start off by creating this web server that's going to have an iframe. If you don't remember what an iframe is, let's take a quick look at W3 Schools iframe. Try it yourself. So here you can see it's just a embedded frame. So what we're going to do is make that frame really small in our web server so people can't see it. Alright, so let's start by going to cdvar, cdww, cdhtml, and this is our default web page, so I'm going to open up gedit. So you should have a bunch of stuff here, so just delete it all, and you can put whatever you want up here. I put a funny sliding message, but here's your invisible frame, which you're going to need to come back to later. So HTTP, and we're going to discuss the settings here. This is going to be our server that serves up the infected exploit. This is going to be hosted by Metasploit, and here's the height. So we're just going to make this really tiny frame. Alright, so then I need to start my web server, service Apache 2 start. So now if I go back here, I'm just going to look at the web page real quick. Here's my totally safe page, and then there's this tiny frame that people hopefully don't notice. Alright, so we're going to make people visit this page, but there's a lot of, using DNS spoofing, but there's a lot of ways we could use this iframe, right? So if somebody buys an ad from us, maybe, or we sell an ad rather, or excuse me, we buy an ad from some ad server and it lets us put in iframes, we could include an iframe, and then everyone would see the ad, but they wouldn't see the iframe, and that iframe could serve up something nasty. We could also, if we're on a message board and the message board supports internal HTML without any verification, we could have an iframe, and everyone who went to that post could be infected. Or we could hack somebody's web server and we could leave the web page unchanged except somewhere there's an iframe. So there's a lot of ways we could be using this iframe attack, but we're going to do sort of a more interesting one that builds off what we've done before, where we redirect people. All right, so what do we have to do to redirect people? That should be something everybody is familiar with at this point. We're going to use EtterCap. And I'm going to search for my hosts. Going to add a target, target 1, target 2. And now I'm going to start Metasploit. All right. Hopefully I get the cow this time. Yay, got the cow. Best one. All right, so it's going to be a good video now. So what do we want to do? We want to start by picking our exploit. Windows, browser, MS10002, Aurora. So that's the name of the exploit that targets Internet Explorer 6. I'm going to set my payload. So you guys should be pretty used to this by this point. Target Windows, interpreter, reverse, whoops, TCP. So that's okay, I think. And then I'm gonna. So again, we're redirecting people to this web server, right? We've got this iframe. They don't see the iframe. We're gonna make them go to this web server. So we have to say what that server IP address is that we're going to be hosting this web server on. And that's 192.168.1.105. And we said that the port this web server is on is 8080. So I'm going to get set server port 8080. And I'm going to set my URI path. So this is where the web server has the exploit. It's on attack. Probably normally you wouldn't want to. It'd be so explicit, but. And then once we exploit the web browser, as always, we have a listening post, right? So we're going to call back, waiting for instructions. So that's going to be 192.168.1.105, and then our favorite port, 1337. All right, so let's go ahead and run that. All right, so we should go back here and start our man in the middle. I've already queued up the targets. Do our art poisoning. All right, and now we need our plugins. And I'll do DNS spoof. And if you don't remember how to do this, go back to the last week. So again, I'm spoofing Microsoft. So let's go back here. And remember, we're targeting Internet Explorer, so if you visit in Firefox, absolutely nothing will happen. So I'm going to go to Microsoft. And if I go back here, I see that the spoof went on. See I served up the exploit. I've got a new session. So I type sessions1. I'm on the target box. So let me start a shell. So this is a shell that's running on my target. And if I type ipconfig, I see that there's two networks. So I know I'm connected by this network. I see there's an internal network, so I want to start attacking that network. All right, so I'm going to go to background my session. So now I'm back on my original box, the attacking box. So I'm going to create a route. So a route is a way for me to go from my Kali to this other network that I've just seen via the computer I've already compromised. So I'm going to go through XP to attack the Metasploitable. I'm going to do that, as I said, by adding a route. So 2.2. Set up my range, my CIDR range, and then this is route 1. All right, so what I would do next if this were a real attack would be start scanning the target network. And that's actually your task for the credit task for this week. So you're going to want to use the Metasploitable or Metasploit scanner to scan what computers are on this subnet and what ports they might have open. So I'm going to go ahead and assume I know the IP address of this victim. And I'm going to change my exploit now. So I'm going to use exploit Unix vs ftpd 234 backdoor. Oops, must have spelled it wrong. What did I get wrong? vs ftpd 234 backdoor. Let's see where I said it wrong. There we go. Oh, excuse me. Use exploit Unix FTP. Yep. All right. So now I have to set my. So if I don't remember, show options. I'm gonna set my R hosts, my target. So set R hosts 92.168.2.2 or 2.3 rather. So my target here, and then I just type run. All right. So I didn't use Meterpreter this time. I just got a regular shell. So if I type ls, there I am on the box. I'm root. So that's basically it. So again, as always, let me know your questions and happy exploiting.